Hello guys, so today we decided to do first video together, three of us, and share with you our birth story, our positive birth story. And the reason why I felt strong desire to share the story with you, because when I was pregnant, I really enjoyed listening positive, uplifting birth stories because it's so much fear around birth, and I think it's really refreshing and empowering to hear beautiful birth stories, easy birth stories. So here we are. And what I wanted to share at the beginning, it's our second birth, and the first one was completely opposite journey. It was needed, really needed. It was super empowering and shocking, and all of the feelings in between with our baby boy Kai. So we had, how long was the birth of Kai?
14 hours or something.
14 hours? Well, with contractions, like from the first contraction until the birth, I think it was 24 hours. Because I started contractions like 3-4 in the morning, I think, and then we gave birth after 3 o'clock. So from contractions till the birth, it was 24 hours of lots of feelings.
Well, it was 24 hours, but actually it was very beautiful for a really large part of that time. So we wanted a water birth, and of course we're your first child. When the first contractions happen, you kind of, let's get to the hospital as fast as we can.
Yeah.
So we went to the hospital and they were like, okay, you're very early here. So they...
I mean about Kai.
With Kai,
yeah.
So they took us to the room, and then they said, oh, just lay down, have a sleep together, a few hours, just enjoy your presence as a two before the new child arrives. And then when the contractions started, we went to the birthing room, into the birthing pool, and you were having a beautiful experience, like a very spiritual experience.
Yeah, with our first one with Kai, it was really, and the pool was really nice. Of course, contractions were super strong, but I managed to breathe through them and put myself into a nice state. So it was intense, but beautiful at the same time. It was really initiation. I've seen my ancestors, and I was keep repeating mantra that every contraction brings me closer and closer of meeting him. So it was really nice, but intense. 24 hours is intense. And then, when we got pregnant with our little one, with the daughter, I expected something similar. Of course, I heard that second birth, it's very often easier, not always, but often easier because body remembers, right? So I was praying, literally praying for like 7-10 hour birth. I thought it's like really amazing after having 24-hour crazy initiation. And this was my dream, this was my mantra. I was repeating and visualizing, and to be honest, I took slightly better care of myself the second round. I moved my body a lot. I took care more of what I'm eating, but mainly movement was the main thing that I've done differently. Because with Kai, I was couch potato, and I gained 20 kilos, something like that. And with the second one, I was moving every day until the very last day, a lot. And so how we started the first birth?
So I was working late, and Ista came in at about 1 o'clock, 12:30, and said, I think you should go to bed because maybe something is starting to happen.
Yeah, I started to feel like some interesting feelings in my womb, but normally it's like pre-contraction, so it can start like weeks before giving birth. So I was like chill, but at the same time, that's interesting.
And so I left my computer and I went to the, to get ready for bed. And by the time I got ready to climb into bed, Ista was like, okay, I think you're not going to bed. I think this is getting stronger pretty fast.
Yeah, it was 1:30 a.m., right? I think.
12:30, 1:30,
Yeah.
And so, because we have Kai, we obviously have to figure out how to take Kai to our friends, to take him there safely, and then still have time to get to the hospital. So we were lots of conversations about when's the right time to go.
Yeah. So the first thing that we tried to message our friends who were supposed to pick him up, or we drive him to them, and because it was a little bit late, they were deep in their sleep and they didn't pick up the phone, which wasn't a very nice thing, but somehow it kept ourselves very chilled, very calm, and we knew that it's gonna work, right?
Yep. Yes. So then we just decided, okay, well let's wake up Kai and let's take him to his good friends. So we got in the car, we drove there, we managed to wake them and handed Kai over, and it was very, very smooth. He was awake on the journey, he was excited for us to be going to the hospital to birth his sister, but also very, very excited about the lollies that he had in his bag for his friends.
Let's highlight the fact that it was his first sleepover ever. Like, he never ever slept without mommy or daddy by the side, and he never slept like with his friends. So it was like a really big thing for him, and it was middle of the night that we woke him up. But we primed him very well, I think. And then the plan was maybe to come back home after dropping him at our friends, because this time I really didn't want to rush to hospital. We wanted to stay calm, stay at home, enjoy this time, because it was 24 hours last time. It was a long time in hospital. So I thought, because we decided not to give home birth, but then we could spend the first time at home and go to hospital when we feel that contractions are really close, just for the final bit.
Yeah, but we were timing the contractions, and there was like 8 minutes, and then there was a few which were like 5 minutes, and then we decided to go to the hospital. And then when we're driving to the hospital, all of a sudden the contractions kind of slowed down a bit, and we're thinking, okay, it's back to like 8 minutes now, and it's not as hard, so maybe we're coming a bit too early. But went into the hospital, very, very good. They took us straight into the room for the pre-checkups and everything, and she said that you were 2 centimeters, was it?
Yeah, so it was only 2 centimeters open, and normally you need to be at least 4 centimeters open. So my contractions was very soft, and I could, laugh and have conversation. I was super, super chilled. And she said, well, 2 centimeters is nothing. It might take ages and ages and ages for you to open to, is it 8 or 10, the max?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, so she was saying, maybe go home and sleep and rest and everything else. And with Kai's birth, even though it was a very, very long birth, when we were starting the birth, they said they thought it was going to be very fast. Things were moving quite fast. And then it was that his head was in the wrong position, and that's why it ended up being such a long birth. So I was like pretty sure it was going to be a pretty fast birth, and I definitely did not want to drive back half an hour to go. And so I said, look, I just have this feeling it's going to be pretty fast. Like, if we could, just go up to the ward and be in the room, and we'd feel much more comfortable. And they agreed and took us there.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was gonna be fast or slow, to be honest, but the only thing I thought, oh my god, now going back to the car, driving back home, staying here, not knowing when to drive back to hospital, it's just like a hustle. And the last thing I wanted is to hustle. Like, I wanted to just be in this hospital room, turn off the lights, turn on the candles, put my music, and just hug and do the movements, and just be in like in meditation, kind of zone, and not in the car forward and backward. Didn't feel like right or calming, right? So nothing. They agreed. They said, okay, the hospital is quite empty, so nobody's giving birth right now. It's quite small hospital. We live on the island, so it's not like lots of births that's happening. But we were very lucky. So she put us in the room, and as we said, like, we had some candles, we turned on the light.
Yeah, we set the scene, put on some mantras, and then almost straight away the contractions started to be very intense.
Yeah. As soon as we entered the room, we prepared the ambience. I lay down and I started to feel that, wow, it's getting so painful. And I thought, oh my god, I cannot remember that this is how painful it was with Kai, like at the very beginning, because with Kai, it very gradually increased, so it was like quite pleasurable, I even would say, at the beginning. And it was so strong, the pain. and I put some dolphin music because the dolphin sounds, because I read somewhere that before women would really give birth with dolphins, and dolphins would help women to give birth in a very ecstatic and calm, peaceful, fast way. So I created like 4-hour playlist and I started to play first songs.
Yeah, and at first you were like feeling a little bit overwhelmed by it, like, you know, these contractions are like so strong, and like if there's like 18 hours of this when, you know, it's the middle of the night and I'm already feeling this, then it's going to be tough. But very quickly tune back into your breath. Went to meditation and definitely got lighter from that point. But then you know, you felt the urge to move.
Yeah, well, when contractions started to be really intense, the thing is that we really wanted to have unmedicated birth. So, you know, no judgment for all the women who chooses to have epidural or, you know, other things. Our dream was to have as natural birth as possible, but of course we were super open for anything that needs to happen, if it needs to happen, right? If it needs to be cesarean, that's fine, you know. But in our birth plan we wrote, you know, like as natural and slow and peaceful as possible, you know. This was our dream. So when I started to have such a strong contractions, I thought, wow, if this is how it hurts at the very beginning, I really need epidural, because I'm not gonna be able to keep up with this kind of strong contractions. I'm only 2 centimeter, my cervix is only 2 centimeter open, and I cannot keep up. So then I had like a fight in my head for a minute, like this was my dream, as natural birth as possible, and it's so freaking painful. I really started considering contractions, but then I felt like, oh, like, not that I'm failing, but like my plan is not going how I wanted it to go. So I had to face this kind of reality. And I think I said, okay, I'm just gonna go on the ball.
Meditate, center.
I'm gonna go on the ball, try to move, and let's see what's going to happen. You know, if it's gonna be, it's the same intense, I might ask for epidural. So on the bed we stayed, I don't know, like 15 minutes, 20 maximum on the bed, you know, since we entered the room, and I started, we meditated a bit, and then I had a little kundalini moving, like a snake moving in my body, because the contractions was so intense, so painful. So I had a little kundalini experience, which is not a normal thing for us, for both of us to experience, but it was very interesting how at the very beginning it just moved my body and put the right bones, the right muscles.
Yeah, that was kind of the transformation from being in your head, slightly fearful, to being in the body and trusting the process, and, you know, really tuning into that. So then went on the ball. For literally 2 minutes.
So I just hugged the ball and I did some pelvic floor opening exercise that I've been practicing before giving birth. And then after 2 minutes or so, waters break. And you know, this is a clear sign that the birth is coming closer.
Yeah, so I got up as fast as I could and hit the bell to call the nurses.
Yeah, because it was so intense. It was so intense. So the nurses came, and
the first nurse came and she said, "Okay, well, you know, if you get on the chair, I will check you, and you know, we'll see." And Ista's already like,
I was on the bed.
I feel like I need to push already.
Yeah, like it was such a crazy feeling when I was on the ball, like hugging the ball and like pushing my buttocks back. I literally felt that the head is sliding out of my vaginal canal. I felt it just going out, and I cannot hold it. I cannot keep it up. I just had such a strong urge to push, which was very new experience for me, because with Kai, with our first one, I haven't felt this feeling at all. Like the doctors told me to push when I need to push, you know, with contraction, but my body was not pushing yet. But I had to push because Kai's heart rate was going down. So with Leia, I started to feel such a big urge to push, and it was very, very like crazy feeling, really crazy feeling.
And so you literally sat on the chair.
I was on the bed.
The nurse came in and started to check, and then said, "Yeah, we need to go."
Because she saw the head already, you know, because it was, I think, already 8 centimeters. It was the max.
Yeah. So then she pressed the bell again a few times, and then we had to wait for, the porter and the other nurses to come, and I was just like, I really feel like I need to push. Like,
I'm
can I
just,
push?
I'm just gonna pause you here for a moment. I just want you to understand the bigness of the Sphinx. So I enter into the room, my cervix was 2 centimeters open, so that much. So how long we stayed in the room? 1 hour?
No, like 25 minutes.
Really? In the room?
Yeah.
Okay. So from 2 centimeters in 30 minutes, let's say, my cervix opened to that much. So imagine how much shift happened in my bones and my muscles and my everything. That's why it was so painful, because it was like after this Kundalini feeling, it was like, my all bones just like moved to different directions. That's why it was so intense. And in our birth plan, we wrote that we want to have a water birth. That was also like our dream, but in this hospital, we have only one water pool. So if someone is in the pool, you cannot have it.
Yeah.
So we had our dream, but we also, stayed grounded, and we knew that it's very big chance it's not going to happen. And nothing. So I was we were on the bed. They pushed us.
So finally, what after felt like ages, the porters came, and we were pushing through the hospital, and I was just kind of having strong contractions, and obviously there's part of it that's trying to not be too loud as you're going through the corridors, and then there's also
no, but I've been laughing
Yeah.
and stuff. Like it wasn't like
no.
crazy,
But I remember, we're in the lift and we're going down. It's quite a big hospital, and I was just like, I really feel I need to push. Like, can I push? Like, should I push? Like, and then
It's like this feeling that you want to go to the toilet like really badly, and you just cannot hold it. Like you cannot hold number 2. It's just like it's just going out. It like needs to happen now,
No. So then we got in the room, and the bath was half filled. They were trying to prepare as fast as they could, but it was obviously quite surprising for them too. And so then we had this debate of like, do you get on the bed and have the baby now, or do you go in the pool? And nobody really knew. Like the doctors were like, they could not advise. And in the end, I still, were like, just climb in the pool and let's see what happens. And so, literally, the first foot into the water, the second foot into the water, and then.
And they said, can I push now, please? And they like, yeah, okay, push, try to push. So I pushed one time, and the head came out, and then the second contraction I pushed, and the full body came out. No, the second nothing, and then the third the full body came out. Like so, it was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, it was quite interesting for me
Yeah.
because with our first child, I didn't really see the full birth process because I was kind of focused on Easter and we were on the bed, etc. But it's very interesting because when the head came out of the body, I obviously went and had a look at the baby's head for the first time, and it was kind of like interesting because the baby almost looks like quite lifeless at that point, not moving, and there's a part of you, you're so used to worrying about like the neck being constricted and these things that it was easy for me to kind of get in my head a little bit like, is this okay, is this normal, like but I was kind of feeling these things, but obviously trying to stay pretty zen with it. And then when you pushed and the baby came out, again, like the baby is so like rigor mortis, everything is kind of stiff and not moving, and you're kind of thinking like, again, like, is this normal, is everything okay? And it takes a bit of time before the baby cries for the first time. And so I was a little more prepared this time than the first time, for sure, but still was very, very interesting to have these thoughts just as the baby is coming into the world. And, it's good to kind of be a little prepared for that, I think.
Yeah.
Because everything is fine, it just takes a little bit of time before the baby realizes I'm outside and starts to adapt.
Totally. Yeah, and for me, it was so fast. Like the birth itself was so fast. Everything just happened so fast, and like from beginning till the end, like a couple of hours. And fast is good, of course, because I felt so, strong and healthy and everything after the end. But at the same time, perhaps it was slightly too fast, because it happened, but my consciousness just couldn't
Take in the fact that
digest that this already happened, also knowing how long it took to birth Kai into existence. So I was in the pool, squatting. I pushed her squatting, and the baby came out. And Michael, I remember saying, she's here, look back, she's here. And I just feeling like I'm not ready to see her. I am not ready yet to see this miracle, So I just said, okay, I need just a little moment. This moment felt like forever. Like, at least I thought it's like 10 minutes or so that I was just breathing and
it's like 10 seconds.
and putting myself into the moment, and just taking time to come back to myself. Yeah, and then I looked back and I saw her, and she was just perfect, like that.
And then they put her straight onto your skin, and then moved back to the bed.
We moved to bed.
And just skin to skin contact for 2.5 hours.
Yes, it was very beautiful. So they checked me. I needed a few stitches because it was just so fast. She came out so fast. So I had a few stitches, but it's okay. It's very not pleasurable thing, but you are full with oxytocin and you have baby and she's feeding, and it really helps you to not feel as much as you would normally feel.
Yeah. But no, like we're very lucky in Spain. I know it's not an option for everybody else, in other places, but they're very, very clear about creating your birth plan. And we really wanted the lotus birth, which is where we keep the umbilical cord connected for as long as possible. We hoped for 2 hours, and also we asked not to take the baby away to weigh or to clean up, just to leave with mummy for skin to skin contact, and very, very respectful of your wishes here.
If you're writing all this on the birth plan, then they really follow that. But if you just you cannot even decide these things in the moment, because you're all high, on all the feelings. So that would be really hard to say, what you want, what you don't want. I think it's just like, especially first time giving birth with Kai, we just followed instructions of the doctors, kind of, without really having strong opinions or strong voice. But second round, we had much more.
So the baby was able to just lay with mummy, which is very, very beautiful. You actually had to give birth again, though.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah, I had to give birth to placenta,
which was far harder than giving birth to Leia.
It was a little bit harder, I think, because you're kind of feeling that, I don't know, because with Kai, I can't remember, I think it just came out somehow.
With Kai, it was all together.
Yeah.
But with...
Yeah. So it was fun, but it's okay. Again, when you have baby already, you know that everything is good, and it's just like something you need to do. The most important, that baby is good, and then the rest is like, wherever. Stitch, I will do wherever,
So then the at first there's the doctors and nurses around, and obviously you're together with your new baby, but it's not quite as perfect as you'd like it, because there's stitching happening and everything else. But then the moment where they actually leave and just allow you to just be in that room in your own space, that's the most beautiful moment for me, when you can really tune into each other and to the baby without distractions. And they allowed us to stay there for another hour and a half after they left, and then when we were finally ready, they came and they took us back to the room where we were staying.
Like, to be honest, like, talking about the time, like Michael says, 1 hour, 20 minutes, 50 minutes. For me, like, when you give birth, time becomes really an illusion, at least in my case. And sometimes I have no idea if this was 5 minutes or it was 2 hours. Like, it's just so, you went in such a trip, that it's really a journey that it just time disappears. Yeah. And like, I don't know how long things takes at all, completely.
Yeah, but it was for me. It was so with our first birth, the umbilical cord was cut quite quickly because it being, not the easiest birth, and we were really just allowing them to do what they needed to do to ensure the health of our baby.
The reason why we wanted to keep umbilical cord connected to her belly button and placenta for as long as possible, it's simply because when you cut umbilical cord, you reduce blood flow by, I think it was 60%, something like that. So it's like really fast thing, which can be really shocking for the little one. And while if you have chance to wait a couple of hours, or normally it's like 20 minutes in Spain if the birth is without problems, they leave for 20 minutes until the umbilical cord becomes white, means that there is no blood flow happening between the body and placenta. So then you can cut the cord, but they let us keep the placenta as long as we want.
Yeah.
And I know that ancestors, the way they do, they keep body connected to placenta until placenta naturally falls out from the belly button. So they don't really cut with scissors, they just leave the nature to push it away.
Yeah, and I really noticed a big difference in how calm the baby was, having the cord left connected. It really feels to me that this is the way that
It's natural.
is the most perfect, and I know that many countries, many hospitals don't facilitate this, which is a shame. But if you do have the option to fight, to stretch out and leave it for as long as possible, I would really recommend. And we actually, they allowed us to take the placenta back to the room, and it was actually 7.5 hours that the baby was connected to the placenta and the umbilical cord before we took the decision to cut, which was very beautiful.
Well, the main reason why hospitals don't want women baby to be connected with placenta is because it's not easy to travel with placenta, to change the baby, to put the nappy, to check the weight, like all these things. It's just not comfortable, right? It's not convenient, right? Exactly the same reason why we are not encouraged to push the baby when we're squatting, right? Which is the most natural position to push something out of our body when we squat, right? If you're going for number 2, you squat. This is how gravity works, right? You work together with gravity, and when you're laying down on the back, imagine to do kaku when you're on the back. It's really difficult, but it's easy for doctors. It's easy for doctors to see the things. It's just comfortable for them, but it doesn't mean that it's the most comfortable position for mother. So most of the things that's happening is because they are convenient. That's why it happens, right? But it's really important to write these things in your birth plan and try to do your own research and try to do everything you can to have your dream birth and calm baby at the end.
No, but I would say,
And we kept placenta.
We kept the placenta, and I would say that we're just very blessed. The hospital, fantastic.
Yeah.
Hospital really felt strong duty of care.
It's not even private hospital; it's public hospital, and it's super nice. And to keep placenta, it was again another story. Like, it's not as easy as I wish. I had to do some documents and to make them approved in the local ayudamiento. How it's called ayudamiento in English? Like
council offices.
Council, yeah. So they had to approve this and the birth plan, so I had to prepare a little bit in order to get placenta. And again, I know to have placenta is not for every father and mother. For lots of people, it's just too much. But I personally, I knew that I really want to have my placenta with me, because I'm gonna plant tree for Leah when she will have 1 year old, give to Mother Earth. And the idea was also to make some pills, like dry placenta, make powder and drink these pills in postpartum period, because it really helps to get back strength. This is what most of the animals do after giving birth. They eat placenta in order to get the energy back. So for me, it was very important. again, the traditions, the lineages that I follow do that. They mainly bury placenta into the earth, and they truly believe that this ritual helps to connect baby with the Mother Earth. Again, it's not for everybody. We're not pushing this thing, but it really felt right for us, and I'm very glad that it worked.
And even if you don't kind of see things like the same way in terms of keeping the placenta for that reason, if you're into longevity, a lot of like the research now is that the placenta is the most powerful
Cells,
like
yeah.
cells for stem cell, and for regenerating, and obviously technology's moving forward so fast, and it's not for everybody, but some people would like to kind of preserve the placenta, and then maybe in the future that becomes a powerful healer.
Again, I don't know if it's truth or not, but I've done quite a bit of research, and because I asked myself why, if the placenta is so powerful, the blood cells in placenta is so powerful, why do you not give placenta back to us? Because it's part of our body, it belongs to us, right? So we should have a choice to take it or not, right? Because it's part of our body. But lots of hospitals, especially in France, Italy, in biggest European countries, they're not allowed to take placenta. It's really strictly forbidden because it's seen as the organ, when you like
Trafficking,
organ trafficking, even though it belongs to you. And when I went to this rabbit hole, really researching what's happening with placenta at the end, like do they throw it or they do something with the cells, I found out that actually
they sell for medical.
I'm not saying every hospital, I'm not saying every country, but there's lots of cases, and I heard from very close people to me also that they do sell placenta to make face creams, and one placenta can cost around 3,000-5,000 euros. So I had to sign a paper that I'm not gonna sell my placenta. So again, it just very confusing why we cannot keep part of our body, why we need to do all these papers, and why it's just so strict, so, but it's okay,
Yeah, but now, we feel...
It's just worth to think.
We feel blessed to be able to keep the placenta with our first birth. There was somebody that came and made a painting with the placenta, and with the second one, like I say, just the fact that you actually have that option, whether you believe or not, in the need for this or whatever, it's just nice to have the option, and then you can align with what you do believe, or what you may feel is the correct path for you. So certainly not suggesting to follow our path, but it's nice to have the conversation sometimes and hear different perspectives.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really very soft birth. It was a dream birth. Well, I'm saying soft, of course, there was lots of feelings in between, but in general, it's a really soft birth, and which took less than 5 hours from beginning till the end. So it was fantastic, from beginning till the end, much more than what I wished for. I prayed for like 14-hour birth, and it was so short, so sweet. Intense, but very, very smooth, very soft. So I'm really, really grateful for this, blessed for this. I'm grateful for your support, as with the first one and second one. And I'm always saying that we gave birth together, and I cannot imagine giving birth without the partner. I know that lots of mothers, they simply don't have a partner close by, or the partner.
Choice.
Yeah, or just too much maybe for the partner. So we definitely should respect the choice, right? And the mothers that giving birth by themselves, I'm just sending so much love and so much respect, and you're really a powerhouse. And we women, we can do everything alone, but it's just so amazing to have extra help, extra support by the side, from the beloved, or from the doulas, midwives, friends, mothers that can really hold our hand and make us feel not alone. It's very, very, very beautiful. So thank you for birthing our babies into existence together. You did a fantastic job, and I'm very, very grateful for your presence. And so two completely different birds, two completely different stories. They're both happened exactly how it had to happen.
Yeah.
I say that the first one was like initiation into our power, into really it helped to understand the capacity of my body to hold intensity, to hold pain. It was really a trip. I went to the cosmos and picked the soul and came back again. It was intense. I saw ancestors, I saw visions. It was very, very empowering. And the second birth, it wasn't an initiation, it was putting myself into my power in a very sweet way. I was afraid a little bit of having the same intensity, the same length, as first birth, but it was really the goddess, the universe, creator, whatever you believe in, really surprised me in such a beautiful way to give myself this, how to say, she gave me this possibility that not everything needs to be hard in life, that I can soft and create beautiful things, not from intensity, not from doing hard job, but by really softening, slowing down and receiving miracles fast in a very soft, feminine, empowered, easy way, sweet way. And it was a huge, huge message that we received.
Yeah, and I think from my side, when I think about both births, I think it's so easy to be in your head, and I think that when you're in your head, you're trying to think about what you need to do next and how everything's gonna. I think it's very, very difficult. But I think when you're able to move into meditation and treat birth like a meditation, just focus on the next breath. I think it really the body knows how to. How to work in that state, so
and
try to make it as mindful as possible. This would be my advice.
Yeah, totally agree. Like as he said, body knows, trust the body, less on the mind, more in the body. And the most important, I guess, thing is that what I truly believe that affected our second birth, was really practicing being in the body during the pregnancy, moving, feeling, being in meditative state, shaking, like doing very watery movement, it's such a medicine. And I truly believe that it helped me to have this fluidity, have this strength in my body at the same time, and peaceful mind second round. So birth is one thing, but preparing yourself before the birth, I think it's really, really needed. First time I thought my body knows, I'm just gonna surrender and body will do the thing, which was okay thing to do, to think at that time. But now I feel that you do need to prepare your body. Because our ancestors, they were already in the body, they were living in the body 24/7. Now we're spending so much time in the mind that we need to put like an effort and during the before conceiving the baby and during the 9 months of the pregnancy, right? We need to move our body, make it strong, make it watery, and repeat positive affirmations, things like that. It really, really helps. So embodiment, it's really important. Practice a movement, it's a very important practice, and being soft, being in your feminine, soft and powerful, it's really, really important to practice before giving birth.
All right.
Yeah, this is it. This is our soft birth story. I really hope that it touched you. I hope that it inspired you and gave you some things to think about. And I really, really hope that your birth going to be as soft and easy as mine. Know that whatever is going to happen, it happens for a reason, to teach you something about your power, about your strength, about this unlimited potential of our bodies. Remember that you are magic on legs, and just trust the process, do your best preparation, and wherever it's going to happen, it's meant to
I think also, if you have difficult contractions or you're in a difficult moment of the birth, it's easy to think that it's going to continue in exactly the same form throughout the rest of the birth. But I think if you can, connect with yourself, with your breath, with meditation, the body has the power to transform out the way that it transformed Aista's very strong contractions into, an easy birth thereafter. So.
Yeah. So my loves, this is it. Just a kind reminder that we are magic on legs, and I don't know what is the more magical thing that we can do than birthing baby into existence. Is powerful, is vulnerable, is all of the feelings. So on the days that you feel not enough, on the days that you feel that you don't know if you can deal with the small, big problems that happens in daily lives, remember that we have possibility to birth babies into existence if we choose to, if it's meant to be, and it's a freaking amazing thing. You are magic on